Test samples suggest that the Omicron variant was present in the Netherlands 11 days ago. That's before the mutated strain was first reported in South Africa. It's not clear whether either of the people who tested positive had been to South Africa. The US top infectious diseases expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, has said there are now more than 220 confirmed cases of Omicron around the world, but the virus has yet to reach the US. The 7-year war in Yemen may have reached a turning point. Houthi rebels are pushing towards the city of Mareb, the last stronghold of the internationally recognised government. And Barbados has become the world's newest republic. The former Governor-General, Sandra Mason, has been sworn in as the first president of the Caribbean island nation, replacing Queen Elizabeth as the head of state.
We start with the coronavirus situation here in Japan, where the government has confirmed the nation's first case of the Omicron variant. The infected person is a diplomat from the southern African country of Namibia who arrived on Sunday. The man in his 30s tested positive for the coronavirus at Narita Airport near Tokyo. He's been quarantined at a designated facility since his sample was sent for genome analysis.
In this particular case, all 70 people who are on board the plane with the infected person will be considered as having had close contact with him.
The 70 people will have to report their health conditions and undergo regular virus tests. The government is calling on the public not to panic and continue to take basic anti-infection measures.
I have no idea what else we need to do to be on alert.
We've just started getting back to normal economic activities. I thought, oh no, not again.
Japan's ban on new foreign arrivals took effect on Tuesday. The measure will last for at least a month. This hospital in Tokyo is preparing to accept patients infected with the Omicron variant if needed. The air pressure of this room can be lowered to prevent the virus from escaping. The hospital plans to make isolation zones for patients with the new variant. Similar zoning was put in place when the Delta variant was spreading in the summer. The number of new coronavirus cases in Japan remains low. Authorities across the nation confirmed 132 infections on Tuesday. 21 of them were here in Tokyo. The daily tally in the capital has been below 30 for the past 19 days. Now, many Vietnamese who had planned to come to Japan as technical trainees have expressed disappointment at the ban on new foreign arrivals. Vietnamese accounted for more than half of all foreign trainees last year when Japan first announced travel restrictions. After Japan eased them in early November, some began preparing again to leave for Japan. But following the decision on Monday to reintroduce a travel ban, a company that dispatches many such would-be trainees told them about the change by video call. A 20-year-old student expressed his disappointment.
I don't feel angry, but I am sad. Now my family says they don't want me to go anymore because I've waited for more than a year.
A representative of the company said he was shocked and surprised because his company and the trainees had been making preparations.
We hope
that the Japanese government will ensure the safety of trainees and ensure the rights of trainees and students.
Southeast Asian countries are taking stricter measures, even though the Omicron variant has not been reported in the region. Singapore's health minister says his country will enhance its testing protocols for all airline arrivals and border workers starting on Thursday and defer the entry of vaccinated foreigners from more countries.
As for Omicron measures, the healthcare protocols will be a lot stricter and quite similar to the initial protocols we implemented when we first encountered COVID-19.
The health ministry says 2 travelers who tested positive for the variant in Australia had transited through Changi Airport in Singapore. But the 2 were negative prior to their departure from South Africa. It said most of the travelers from South Africa had remained in the airport transit area and did not enter the country. The U.S. Defense Department says it's completed a review of the country's global military posture. A senior Pentagon official said its priority will be the Indo-Pacific.
The Global Posture Review directs additional cooperation with allies and partners across the region to advance initiatives that contribute to regional stability and deter potential military aggression from China and threats from North Korea.
The administration of President Joe Biden carried out the review in response to growing concerns about China's military buildup. The initiatives include seeking greater regional access for military partnership activities, enhancing infrastructure in Guam and Australia, as well as prioritizing military construction across the Pacific Islands. New rotational aircraft deployments and logistics cooperation with Australia are also part of the plan. The defense official said more initiatives are forthcoming in the region, but require additional discussions among allies. Officials in Beijing swiftly responded to the U.S. move.
China is firmly opposed to the U.S. attempts to make the China threat theory an excuse for its expansion of military spending, military power, and maintenance of military hegemony.
The spokesperson said the U.S. announcement exposes its real intention to militarize the region and contain China. Now, the United States is carrying out joint exercises with its allies in waters around Japan. F-35C stealth fighter jets conducted takeoff and landing exercises. German naval vessels joined Australian, Canadian, and Japanese forces for the first time in a regular drill.
We will further strengthen our cooperation to address the increasing threats to maritime security, such as unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force. We will contribute to Japan's defense and the peace and stability of the Indo-Pacific region.
The U.S. 7th Fleet commander said the joint exercises are meant to demonstrate their capabilities to nations that have been carrying out shows of strength. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has ordered a new inquiry into the 2019 military airstrikes in Syria that killed dozens of civilians, including children. The incident occurred during a battle against Islamic State militants. The Pentagon said the inquiry will analyze previous investigations. There'll also be assessments of the civilian casualties, compliance with the law of war, and reporting procedures. An article in the New York Times on November 13th alleged the U.S. military made moves to conceal the strikes, which were carried out by fighter jets. It said the military acknowledged the strikes killed 80 people. In September, the U.S. military admitted a drone strike which killed 10 civilians in the Afghan capital, Kabul, was a tragic mistake after reports emerged from multiple media outlets. In other news, the head of a leading Taiwanese business group has declared he opposes Taiwan's independence from China. He made the announcement in an open letter to a local newspaper. Douglas Hsu is the chairman of the Taipei-based Far Eastern Group. He wrote in Tuesday's edition of the United Daily News, the importance of the Chinese mainland market to Taiwan's economic development cannot be denied. He said he's always opposed Taiwan independence and stressed his support for Beijing's One China principle. Some observers suggest Hsu was under pressure to express his opposition to independence for Taiwan. It came to light last week, Far Eastern Group companies based in China have been fined by authorities in Shanghai and Jiangsu province over environmental, tax, and other violations. The Chinese government also announced last week it would never allow Taiwanese firms that support Taiwan's independence to make money in China. The Far Eastern Group has made contributions to Taiwan's governing Democratic Progressive Party, which refuses to accept the One China principle. Japan's largest opposition party has chosen its new leader. Izumi Kenta will lead the recently weakened Constitutional Democratic Party into next summer's upper house election.
As a party that conducts people-centered politics, we stand by those who are in trouble and will support them. As a party that works for everyone, we would like to move forward with all our strength.
The race moved to a runoff after both Izumi and Osaka Seiji gained significant first-round support. Izumi ended with a convincing win over his veteran opponent, nabbing 205 points. The party's policy chief will replace Edano Yukio, who's been at the helm since its founding. He resigned after disappointing supporters in October's lower house election. The Constitutional Democratic Party failed to gain traction from pandemic frustrations, instead losing a significant number of seats. Some Japanese residents who fled their homes following the 2011 nuclear disaster are now preparing to return. More than 10 years have passed since the triple meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, but some evacuation orders are still in place. The government aims to lift them for some areas next spring. And in preparation, it's allowing evacuees to spend the night in their home for the first time.
I'm very happy because I never expected this day would come.
I was just allowed back home temporarily. I was really dreaming about spending the night here. It won't be like how things were before, but I want to keep living with everyone's help and do whatever I can.
Barriers in another part of Fukushima are being opened. People can now freely enter areas near a local railway station in what used to be the center of the community. Next week, people here will be allowed to make the overnight visits.
I hope we can resolve whatever concerns residents have. We will move forward with our plan to lift the evacuation order next year.
Residents have been waiting many years for this news, but they realize getting their lives back to normal will still take more time. Moving now to sports, Japanese two-way sensation Ohtani Shohei has won another prize for his stellar performance in Major League Baseball this season. The Los Angeles Angel is the first Japanese player to receive the Edgar Martinez Outstanding Designated Hitter Award. Club beat writers, broadcasters, and others cast their votes to choose the winner. Ohtani was a designated hitter in his fourth MLB season, except in games when he took to the mound as the starting pitcher. He belted 46 home runs, batted in 100 runs, and stole 26 bases. Ohtani's latest award follows other accomplishments this year. They include the Most Valuable Player Award in the American League. Next in weather, people in southern India have been contending with days of rain. Many houses were flooded and schools were closed. Our meteorologist Jonathan O explains the situation in our World Weather Report.
Hello, we are seeing the withdrawal of the southwest monsoonal front, but it's not clearing India quite yet. Sri Lanka as well, seeing very heavy rainfall into the southern portions of India. Here's a look at some of the video to give you an idea of the situation coming out of Chennai. Torrential rains have hit southern India, waterlogging roads and troubling local residents. Houses were submerged and residents were unable to go outside. Schools had to be closed after a weather department issued alerts. In India, rainfall is needed specifically to support many farmers, but too much rain does lead to flooding, landslides, and waterborne diseases. It is a pattern that doesn't make it any easier for those living in the area, and the rain will continue into places like Chennai and also into Mumbai as we go throughout the day on Wednesday. Areas to the north, though, staying dry, highs of around 24 degrees in New Delhi as we go through Wednesday. Meanwhile, across Japan, we have this rain band moving through. Ahead of it, warm air. Behind it, much colder air. You're going to feel the difference as you go throughout the day on Wednesday. Some stronger winds associated with the low up toward the north. And so as that pushes on through, we're looking at plenty of rain. Strong winds have been associated with this pattern with heavy rain. So that's going to be the case as we go through the day. Now, we broaden out the view, showing you the high pressure back toward the west. And that's really the one that's kicking in some of the northerly flow. And so that's going to keep temperatures chilly. Look at this. Beijing only a high of 8, not getting out of the freezing mark in Mongolia, and so we're looking at a high of 3 with sunny skies. As we look at what's happening across North America, Pacific Northwest, once again seeing some more rain headed into the region. High pressure controlling the weather down toward the south, and that's going to help elevate temperatures. Look at this. Atlanta looking a high of 21. Denver also looking a high of 21. Rain with highs in the low teens for the Pacific Northwest on Wednesday. Hope you have a good day wherever you are.